in a world where right now there's a lot of bad news, we need the good news. We need Jesus to speak to us the good news in every situation. He is there declaring good news to us. One of the best verses and most incredible promises I've ever read in the Bible is in Luke 8, and it says this: do not be afraid, only believe. Do not be afraid, only believe. What if in all your circumstances, whatever news you face, whether it's global, personal, health crisis, family crisis, the phone rings, you're at the doctor's office, you look at your bank balance and somehow it was like a runaway train, and you suddenly have bad news, you face this bad news. What if every circumstance you looked at this verse in Luke 8 and you applied it and you said, do not be afraid, only believe? But we're humans, and it almost seems offensive that this would be Jesus's word to someone who just got bad news. Aren't we just human? Isn't it appropriate when you find out that someone dies to completely freak out or grieve? Well, let's look at this passage in Luke 8. Jairus comes to Jesus and he says, my daughter is dying. Come quickly to my house and heal her. He begged Jesus. Jesus was on his way to Jairus' house and he got delayed because of the multitude around him, and another woman needed healing. So guess what happens in verse 49? While Jesus was speaking to the woman who just touched him, someone came from the ruler of the synagogue's house saying to him, your daughter is dead. Do not trouble the teacher. Bad news. Like, that's probably the worst news, wouldn't you say? That's not just bad news. That's horrific news. He went to Jesus, come to my house. Now my daughter's dead. Listen to what verse 50 said. When Jesus heard it, heard what? The bad news. When Jesus heard it, he answered him saying, do not be afraid, only believe, and she will be made well. Whoa, Jairus now has a choice. Do I freak out, which would be appropriate, or do I believe Jesus? Well, somehow he remained calm enough, and Jesus went to Jairus' house. He puts everybody out of the house except for Jairus' parents and a few of the apostles. And guess what happened? He put, verse 54, he put them all outside. He took her by the hand, calling, saying, little girl, arise. Then her spirit returned and she arose immediately. He commanded that she be given something to eat, and her parents were astonished. So what if instead of that panic, fear, freak out mode, when you get bad news, you stop and you say, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to believe you, Jesus. And then you wait for him to tell you what to do. I just think that we as Christians, if we apply this verse, don't be afraid, only believe, and then let Jesus come to our house and he'll show us what to do, we're going to see miracles. This isn't a guarantee that everyone who dies is going to be raised from the dead. It's not. But it's a guarantee that Jesus will lead you in your house. He will come to your house and he will show you what to do. So we got to get rid of the fear when we get bad news and stand your ground and say, I refuse to be afraid. I'm not going to be afraid of this bad news. I'm going to only believe. I have a sweater, and on the label it says only. And I was thinking about this because the Bible says put on faith. This sweater says only. Obviously this name brand or this branding wants you only to wear its clothes. But what if that part of the verse, only believe? What if you decided, I'm only going to wear faith? I'm only going to believe. And I refuse to be afraid because Jesus is going to help me. So I bless you. Only believe. Whatever the situation, I bless you to wear faith and to only believe. Hi. Your camera needs to be straighter, I think, or face this way more.
It depends what you want.
Oh, Kaboria Sandere. Oh, there's a cat in the backyard right now. Cute.
Focus.